Thank you for joining me for another dose of the Daily Bread Bible study, here for day 228 for Saturday, August 15th, 2020, focusing on Jeremiah chapters 40 through 43. We see Babylon has come and taken over Jerusalem, and we see that Jeremiah is now led away by a Babylonian captain towards Babylon, going up north, but is released during the trip. In verse 4, the captain says to Jeremiah, "Now look, I have just released you today from all the fetters on your hands. If you wish to come with me to Babylon, come, and I will take good care of you. But if you do not wish to come with me to Babylon, you need not come. See, the whole land is before you. Go wherever you think it good and right to go." Jeremiah gets that gift and he decides to go back and be with his people who still need to hear God's message with them. Gedaliah, one of the challengers earlier on to Jeremiah, is put in charge of the poor who were not exiled away to Babylon. Gedaliah leads the remnant in the very first glimpse of a return from exile, as mentioned in verse 11. Likewise, when all the Judeans who were in Moab and among the Ammonites and in Edom and in the other lands heard the king of Babylon had left a remnant in Judah and had appointed Gedaliah, son of Achim, son of Shaphan, as governor over them, then all the Judeans returned from all the places which they had been scattered, and came to the land of Judah, to Gedaliah at Mizpah, and they gathered wine and summer fruits in great abundance. So it's a little glimpse of what is to come after the 70 years where Babylon will finally fall to the Persians and they will be set free. They will get to go back to their homes and be able to grow vineyards and plant fruit and all of these things they will get to consume. At this moment in time, Babylon, they owe some of this tribute to Babylon, but it's even the beginning of a glimpse of that, even for the nobles who will have to live there 70 years in Babylon. We see in Jeremiah chapter 41 that Gedaliah experiences some mutiny. So Gedaliah was kind of harsh on Jeremiah, but now somebody is harsh with him. In verse 2 of chapter 41, it says, "Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, and the 10 men with him got up and struck down Gedaliah, son of Ahikam, son of Shaphan, with the sword and killed him, because the king of Babylon had appointed him governor in the land." They did not like Gedaliah, and Ishmael thought to take it into his hands rather violently. He kills others, including other Jews and Babylonians. And a man named Johanan rescues them. In verse 14, people who were taken, whom Ishmael had carried away captive to Mizpah, turned around and came back, and they went to Johanan, son of Koreah. But Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, escaped from Johanan with 8 men and went to the Ammonites. So after killing all these people, causing some disruption in the new order that the king of Babylon was establishing, chased by his own people for the murder of Gedaliah, Ishmael runs away to those Ammonites there in that other nation. In Jeremiah 42, the people want Jeremiah to inquire of the Lord for what they are to do now. And after a few days, Jeremiah hears God's message, "Stay here and live, or flee to Egypt and die." In verse 10 of chapter 42, "If you only will remain in this land, then I will build you up and not put you down. I will plant you and not pluck you up, for I am sorry for the disaster that I have brought upon you, says the Lord." In verse 19, it also continues, "The Lord had said to you, O remnant of Judah, do not go to Egypt. Be well aware that I've warned you today that you have made a fatal mistake." Why is this said? Because right on cue, the people rebel against his message. In Jeremiah 43, we hear in verse 7, "They came to the land of Egypt, for they did not obey the voice of the Lord. And they arrived at Taphanes. And then the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah in Taphanes. Take some large stones in your hands and bury them into clay pavement that is at the entrance of Pharaoh's palace in Taphanes. Let the Judeans see you do it." So this will be a testament against them, another one of God's signs that they have rebelled and strayed away from what God is calling them to do. They find themselves back in Egypt. The Exodus led by Moses had, in some senses, reversed here, and God was going to leave them in the land and to allow them to grow crops and to live in peace for a time, but they've chosen Egypt instead. Next time we will see the consequences that has, and we will see more of the story continued there.